Hello everybody, BeMetalways here. Hope everyone is doing well. This is the last weekly heavy metal album review of 2020. This week I'm reviewing VANDEN PLAS, the Ghost Experiment, Illumination, released by Frontiers Records on December 4th, 2020. VANDEN PLAS is a German progressive metal band founded in the mid-1980s. The first full-length studio, named Color Temple, was, however, released only in 1994. Since then, they have released 8 more albums with the same lineup. VANDEN PLAS is the German reaction to Dream Theater, in my opinion. The band incorporates elements of progressive metal and rock opera, keyboard layers, and specializes in longer songs. I'm a long-time fan of the band and have enjoyed most of their albums. They are not as exaggerated as Dream Theater, let's say. The vocals are more contained than James Labrie. The solos are not that long or don't feel like a show-off for the sake of it. That despite the songs being mid to long range, but rarely going over the 10-minute mark. The last 15 years or so, they have moved more into big and theatrical concept albums. While I enjoyed the last 3 records of this new phase, I still hold my heart to the earlier stuff. The song Rainmaker from 1997's The God Thing is my favorite song and the one that got me into this band in the first place. Christ Zero is probably my favorite record of them. The previous record, released only last year, The Ghost Experiment Awakening, is my favorite of the last 3 albums. So I'm looking forward to see what part 2 of The Ghost Experiment will bring us. So about a year ago, VANDEN PLAS delivered the part 1 entitled Awakening of their 2-part concept album, The Ghost Experiment. Now comes the dramatic conclusion of the story with their new album, The Ghost Experiment Illumination. It is also their 10th studio album and features 7 new tracks running a total time of 56 minutes. While the orchestral arrangements in the first album in this saga had been reduced compared to their previous concept double album Chronics of the Immortal series, this time the progressive aspects of the band's sound are even more apparent. My overall impression is that this is their back to their roots album. It pleasantly takes me back to The God Thing from 1997, on Christ Zero from 2006, or a bit of the Seraphic Clockwork from 2010. It's a heavy, guitar-driven record. I mean, how heavy is that instrumental interlude after the second chorus of the opening track, When the World is Falling Down? Yeah, right? And the drumming at the end of this song, it's beautiful. So heavy, so many fills, it's just really cool. Then the guitar riffs on Fatal Arcadia are a mix of their old albums with Dream Theater from the early 2000s, when they were pretty heavy, like in Train of Thought. The song even brings some harsh vocals to the mix. Now, the guitar being a highlight for me doesn't mean that the magic keyboards of Mr. Verno are at second place. No, there are plenty of solos and keyboard passages to prove that. Take for example the Lonely Psychogon. Wow, fantastic keyboard work, and a solo that has some parts that goes like in a twin phrasing with the guitar that is just great. In sum, as always, the musicianship is brilliant. Stefan Lill on guitars, Gunter Verno on keyboards, Andreas Lill on drums, and Torsten Reichard on bass. They all deliver the goods without suffocating us with unnecessary instrumental fillers. The album once again sees a solid performance also from the singer and lyricist Andy Kuntz, and it's full of big, epic choruses. Those are usually supported by backing vocals team that includes the singer Oliver Hartman from Avantasia and Harvey Langlunds from Firewind these days. This is all over the album, but perfect example is the soon-to-be live favorite Under the Horizon, featuring a very nice big chorus in that song. Then the song Black Waltz Death is the most symphonic song on the album, but as it is an 8-minute long song, halfway through it, it does get heavier as well, featuring the best guitar solo of the album in my opinion. The Ouroboros, one of their longest songs ever, and it's fantastic. Many ups and downs and really good hooks. The chorus is really nice as well. So the album, after this long 13-minute song, closes with the shortest track, about 4.5 minutes, Ghost Engineers, a soft and slow-paced song to send us away knowing we just finished a fantastic musical journey and story. Now, I don't have a lot to complain here, honestly. If I would say, pick one thing, I just feel that the vocal melodies are not always straightforward and catchy, and it takes a lot of spins to really get used to them. So I do hope that people have the willingness to stay with the album for long enough to get hooked like I did. So let me wrap up here. Overall, Vanden Plas surprised me with their best record in more than a decade. Part 1 of this story was already very good, but this is even better. So the Ghost Experiment Illumination proves again that Vanden Plas is an underrated band, continued their own unique path. This is another glorious work that brings up their roots and influences while moving the band forward. So the Ghost Experiment Illumination is a must-have for any prog metal fan. A very good album that I'm giving a solid 85 out of 100. Alright, so thanks for listening, for being here in this last review of this year. I hope to soon be working on my top albums of the year and be posting that very shortly. For now, have a good time in your breaks and holidays, and BeMetalways.